from West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Support for the following is provided by the West Virginia Department of Education and West Virginia Public Broadcasting. Hey! Hey everyone, it's Education Station!
Hi, and welcome back to Education Station. I'm your host, Alex Milanese. In today's special parent edition of Education Station, we're going to meet educational experts who are going to share strategies that you can use while teaching your little ones at home. So we're going to kick things off today with Ms. Meadows and Mr. Hicks, who are going to walk us through how to take cooking with our children and turn it into a learning opportunity. Let's check it out.
Hello!
My name is Mr. Hicks.
And I am Miss Meadows.
And we are kindergarten teachers at Salt Rock Elementary School in Campbell County.
We are here today to show you how something as simple as making a family dessert can be full of learning experiences for your student.
Yeah, so we're going to teach you how to integrate very important ELA and math skills into doing something fun like making this fruit salad.
All right, so we have a recipe in front of us for fruit salad, and let's walk through that. Mr. Hicks,
yes,
let's look at this recipe.
And so the first thing we see on our recipe are the ingredients.
And right there is a vocabulary lesson. You can talk about what an ingredient is, because your child might know that ingredients have to do with cooking, but they may not necessarily be able to tell you what an ingredient is, that it is a part that goes into making the whole recipe.
Right, and so if we look at our recipe, the first ingredient that it says is 2 cans of peaches.
2 cans of peaches. So there is a math lesson. You can use one-to-one correspondence to see if your child can find 2, the amount 2. And then they also can look at the number 2 and tell you that the amount of cans in front of you is the same as the number written on the recipe.
That's right. Also, you can integrate very important ELA or reading skills in that we can talk about the syllables in the word peaches. So we're going to learn about syllables by clapping today. So we're going to clap the syllables in the word peaches. Let's do that together.
Peaches.
How many syllables?
2.
2 syllables, that's right.
And it's very simple. All the way through you can do that. Let's look at the next ingredient, Mr. Hicks.
Yeah, the next ingredient is 2 cans of pears.
So again, you can look at the number 2 and do I have 2? But you can also clap your syllables, right?
Right, so let's clap the syllables in the word pears. Pears.
There's 1 syllable. So which word has more syllables, Mr. Hicks?
Oh,
peaches or pears?
That's a good question. I really think that peaches does.
It does, and so you can clap out the syllables and do that. But you also have a very special opportunity here because peaches and pears have something in common other than the fact that they're both fruit.
Yes.
Do you know what that is, Mr. Hicks?
I happen to know because I had a really good kindergarten teacher that the first sound is the same in both those words.
It is. If you say the word peaches and you say the word pears, they both begin with the p sound.
Which we know is related to the consonant P. Yeah.
Yes. What's the next ingredient, Mr. Hicks?
2 cans of pineapples.
And again, same skills, right?
Yes.
But pineapples has more syllables, right? You can clap out pineapples.
Yes.
Right.
So that would be 3 syllables. Or pineapples is also a special word, is a compound word.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Well, that means, Miss Meadows, that compound word is 2 words that go together to make a completely different word. And so if we do an activity to learn compound words, we might do something like this. Pineapples, pineapples.
And we could do that with the recipe, right?
Right.
Pineapples, pineapples.
That's right.
Okay, what's our next ingredient?
So the next ingredient is 1 can of mixed fruit.
And that's special because you could talk about how peaches and pears and pineapples all start with p, but mixed fruit starts with a whole different sound. It starts with
Mm-hmm. And then the next ingredient is 1 bag of mini marshmallows.
Mini marshmallows.
Mini marshmallows.
Hey, that's got the same first sound as mixed fruit.
Yep, that's right. The last ingredient is 2 containers of large size vanilla yogurt or pudding.
All right, so again, you could talk about how pudding starts with the same sound as other words and things. But the really exciting part comes up next because the next part of the recipe is what, Mr. Hicks?
It's the directions.
The directions. And following directions in order is very important for building reading skills in early readers. First, it gives them the understanding that things happen in order. So when you're reading, that eventually leads to understanding things like the sequence of events or key details in a story, and it helps with putting in order to read and understand as well.
That's right.
So following directions in a recipe is really good for building those early reading skills.
So when we're reading the directions, the first one says strain the canned fruit using your strainer.
Now, we pre-strained our fruit because we didn't want to waste your time with taking the time to strain everything. But it is important, if you are going to make this fruit salad, to strain your fruit. All the liquid will make it very watery and not taste as good.
Yes. And so number 2 is combine all the ingredients together in a large mixing bowl with a large spoon.
And that gives you a lot of chances to talk about vocabulary again. You've got the words combine, large, spoon, together is a good one, stir. Yep. All of those are big vocabulary words. So very quickly, let's go ahead and combine them. What was the first one in the recipe?
So the first ingredient in the recipe were 2 cans of peaches.
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 So it's really cool because we can take these, and as we put them into our bowl, we can make the first sound in the word.
Right. So we're going to try that. When she puts the peaches in the large mixing bowl, we're going to make the first sound in the word peaches. So let's try that. Good job.
Thank you. All right, what's the next ingredient?
The next ingredient is 2 cans of pears.
Here we go. Ready? First sound again.
Good job. The next ingredient is 1 can of mixed fruit.
All right, here we go. First sound in mixed fruit. Ready? Mmm. What's the next ingredient?
The next ingredient is 2 cans of pineapples.
Pineapples. All right, here we go. First sound.
Good job.
All right. And what's next?
1 bag of mini marshmallows.
And what's the first sound in that again?
And we know how much we love marshmallows.
Oh, yes, we love marshmallows. Okay, so then we need to do the yogurt or pudding. Now, if your grocery store is like my grocery store, sometimes we have to be a little flexible. So we went ahead and we got a snack pack, a box of snack packs.
Which come with 4.
Which come with 4. And it has about the same amount as the 2 containers of yogurt in them. And while you're doing that, you're working on using those fine motor skills like you would use to write. And so it helps work the hands and fingers. And you could also do the sounds in the word pudding or the syllables in the word pudding.
Let's do that. Let's do the syllables in the word pudding. Let's type that together while she finishes. Pudding. How many syllables? 2. What's the first sound, Miss Meadows, in the word pudding? That's right. It is the consonant P. Good, and I think that is all of our pudding, Miss Meadows.
It is, so now it's time to mix it
Mix with what kind of spoon, Miss Meadows?
A large spoon.
A large spoon.
Not to be confused with a small spoon.
No.
A large spoon, which is also a mathematical concept.
Yes.
Yes, we're comparing length.
Okay.
All right, and once it's all stirred up, you are ready to eat. Let me give it one more good stir.
Oh my goodness, Miss Meadows. That looks so good.
It does, doesn't it? All right, would you like to grab a taste?
We may do that.
All right, go right ahead.
Let me just grab my handy dandy handkerchief out of my pocket, put it up here so I don't get anything on my apron. I'm going to get my spoon and I'm going to just dip it right in there. Oh my goodness, Miss Meadows. That tastes like learning.
Isn't learning fun?
It is.
It is absolutely delicious.
All right, thanks Miss Meadows and Mr. Hicks. That was great. Now, next up, we're going to meet Mr. Grant, who has a fun way to combine learning with physical activity. Let's check it out.
Hello, West Virginia families. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Josh Grant, the Physical Education Coordinator for the West Virginia Department of Education. And I want to thank you in advance for allowing me this opportunity to bring learning to you. Today I want to bring you a concept I like to call active math. Active math is simply taking basic academic concepts or math concepts like number identification, addition, and multiplication and pairing them with physical activity or exercises. So it might be a jumping jack, a squat, or a push-up. The combination of combining academic concepts with physical activity really has a great benefits to not only the body, but specifically the brain. There's been countless research studies that show us that physically active students perform better. They have better test scores, they perform better on standardized tests, they just produce better work. They're just healthier. Some research studies have shown that exercise actually grows brain cells. Or another way to put it is exercise is like Miracle-Gro to the brain. And another great thing about exercise when we combine it with physical activity, we make it fun. We need to put the fun back into learning. And that's what active math does. Now, there's a couple things you're going to need for these activities that you probably just have lying around the house or in a closet. The first thing you're going to need is some dice. You can maybe get them from an old board game, or they're easily available at any store, or you could get from a dollar store. You can get a pair of dice, just some dice. It doesn't matter what size they are. It could be the small ones or the big ones. The next thing that you're going to need for the activities that I show you are just some playing cards. Now you'll notice I did take the face cards, the tens and the face cards, the jacks, queens, and kings, and then the aces out of the deck with the jokers to just leave me the 2 through 9 with the suits. So that's what I did first to focus on my math skills. So we're going to do a dice activity game and we're going to do a card game. I'm going to show you how you can do it with, if you're a parent with a kindergartner and with the dice, and then we'll move up to possibly into 4th grade. And with the cards, we're probably the same thing. We're going to identify with a kindergartner first and bring it up to 4th grade. So we'll show you how you could change it for different activities. Ideally, you want someone, both of these are kind of battles or duels. You're going to want to have someone you can challenge with at your house. It might be a parent, a mom, dad, a grandparent, a sister, a brother, or someone that you can challenge with at your own home. I don't have anybody with me today, so I'm just going to use you as the person that challenges with me, if that's okay. And we can do the first round together so you get an idea of some of the activities that I'm going to show you. And then hopefully after this video is over, you can take this opportunity to take your activity outside and make it engaging. Enjoy some of the sunshine that we might be getting throughout this time. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use it one by die so it's a little bigger. This first activity, if you do have a parent, if you're a parent of a kindergartner or someone that's 5 years old, you would want to just use one die between the two of you, not each have a die, if that makes sense. And the first thing we're going to do is if I would be the parent, I would have my one die and I would simply roll the die on the ground to see if my kindergartner can identify the number of dots that are on the dice. And math, they call it, well, you could call it number identification, or we call that subitization or subitizing, but that's what that looks like. So I would say, are you ready? I would get down, I would roll the dice. I rolled a 2, and I had a neat little chart here that you might like to show you what different numbers on the dice can do. Or you can make up your own. So on this chart I have 2 equals 2 push-ups. So we rolled the dice, I rolled a 2, so I would wait for my kindergartner to tell me 2, and then that says, that's right, that's 2, and then we both would do 2 push-ups. So can you get down with me and do 2 push-ups? Ready? Go. 1, 2, and get back up. If you had to do them on your knees, that's okay. That's what we call modified push-ups. Now, if I was progressing and I would keep going with this game until we both had enough exercise or we both understood what the 1 through 6 looks like so we can practice number identification. And if your student had to count the dots, that would be okay. And I would take turns going back and forth, probably just rolling with my student. Now, as we progress into our 1st grade and up, we could then start using some of our basic arithmetic or math concepts to work on some adding. So this is where I would have, each of us would have our die, and we would then do a dice duel. So on the count of 3, we would roll our dice at the same time. 1, 2, 3, go. For purposes here, there was a 5 rolled on this one and a 1 rolled on this one. 5, and if it was addition, 5 plus 1, the first person to say the right answer, 6, would be the winner. Now, you can make this a little fun. because the winner then could get to pick the exercise. So the person that said 6 the earliest or the soonest would be the winner, and they get to pick the exercise. So the way you would do this is, I always say do the number of physical activities with the highest die number. So 5 is the highest die number, so you're going to do 5 of these, whatever they are. If you said 5 plus 1 is 6, you would be right, and you'd pick the activity. I said 5 plus 1 is 6, so I'm going to pick the activity. The activity's jumping jacks. We're going to do 5 jumping jacks. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we would simply take the dice and roll again. Now, when we roll again, let's just say, and then you would just keep doing that until you do all your different basic addition facts. Now, if we wanted to put the math up or increase the math rigor, we would then take it and make it multiplication. Simply roll the 2 dice, and the first person to say the answer, a 5 and a 4 will roll. 5 times 4. The first person to say 20 would be the winner, and you would do, of course, here in this situation, 5 of the activities. If you wanted to do 20, that's okay, if you really felt like getting more exercise. So you can make the chart like I did and determine ahead of time what those numbers were, or you can make them up as you go. I think it's fun to make them up as you go, just so you can pick your activity. The last activity, or the card activity, now moving on, the card activity we're going to do is basically a card duel or a card battle, where you're going to take, in this activity, here, each person gets a card. Now, you could look at the card, but you don't show your neighbor's card. So that would be your card, okay? That's your card. And then this would be my card, okay? That is my card, but I wouldn't show it. I wouldn't show it to the person across. So what this activity looks like, this one's a little hard to do by yourself. What this activity looks like is I would get back to back with a partner. So you would be back here, okay? You would be behind me, and I'm showing you my side. And then what we would do is we would jump up. We would jump up 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And on the third time, 1, 2, 3, I would put my card out to you. Okay, does that make sense? So I would go 1, 2, 3, go, and a card to you. Now you would do the same thing to me. This was your card, so you would be holding it to me, facing me this way. You had a 6 of hearts. I had a 5 of spades. Remember, 6, if we're doing addition, 6 plus 5, the first person that says 11 would be right. If we're doing multiplication, the first person that said 30 would be right. Does that make sense? And then we could do it the same way. We can pick our physical activity that the winner gets. If I said that's 30 and it was multiplication, I might want to do push-ups. But remember, in this situation, we would do, because the 6, the highest number, 6 of hearts, we can do push-ups. If you like the concept of figuring out ahead of time what activities and what suits, I did something here: jumps, kicks, squats, and punches, corresponding with the highest number utilizing the different suits of the cards. I hope you found those activities helpful. Get healthy and stay active.
Thanks, Mr. Grant. Now, for our final stop today, we're going to visit Ms. Crawford, who's going to share some great online resources that can help improve your child's math skills. Let's check it out.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Crawford, and I work for the June Harless Center as a STEAM outreach educator. Today I'm going to share with you some online math resources that will help build number sense that will lead to better mathematical understanding and reasoning. I hope you're able to enjoy these math resources during our time at home. The first resource I'm going to share with you is a website called Which One Doesn't Belong. There are several puzzles to choose from that will engage students in conversations about which one doesn't belong and why. The following is an example of using this resource with children. Okay, so here's another puzzle with money. Which one doesn't belong? Adara?
That one, the nickel probably doesn't belong because every cent is a penny. And also, it's the only one that is silver.
Okay.
All of them are copper.
The other ones are copper, and it's the only nickel. Okay, Phoenix, which one do you think doesn't belong?
The penny that is only one, because the other pennies have 5 on them.
Okay, what about the nickel?
And the nickel is 5. And it's worth 5 too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the penny is the only one that is 1 cent?
Yep.
Okay, those are great. Thank you. You ready for another one?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've looked at shapes and money. Now let's look at some equations. Does anybody have any ideas of which one doesn't belong? Phoenix.
All of them are 10, but except for one.
Okay, all of them add up to 10 except for one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so which one doesn't belong?
That big.
How come that one doesn't belong?
Because 3 plus 9 equals 12.
Okay. There, you have another idea for which one doesn't belong?
All of these are different numbers, except for that one.
Okay. So we have 5 and 5.
Yeah, and all of them are 2 plus 2 and 8, 9 and 1, 3 and 9.
Okay, that's a great. Okay, you guys want to do a fun one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the emojis. Which one doesn't belong? What one do you think doesn't belong, Adara?
The blue one, because all of them are yellow. And
Okay.
the star, because it's the only circle. The only star.
Okay, so the blue one doesn't belong because it's the only blue one.
And
And the star doesn't belong because it's the only star.
I have one more.
Okay, let's let Phoenix tell us.
This girl doesn't have a hand.
That's exactly what I was saying.
That girl doesn't have a thumbs up,
No.
so she doesn't belong. You have another one?
That one only has a hat. That's the only one that has a hat.
Okay, so that emoji is the only one that has a hat. Have another one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
And this one's the only one is the only one who is a girl.
Okay, so that one looks like she's a girl. She has a bow and really long eyelashes, so she might not belong. Adara, you have another one?
She's the only one who has makeup on.
Okay, she's the only one who has
And
makeup on.
also, she's the only one who has a bow on.
And now we're going to demonstrate how to use which one doesn't belong on a phone while you're sitting outside on the porch or wherever you might be during quarantine. All right, Adara. So which one doesn't belong?
9 because it's the only one in the ones place.
Okay. That's a good one. Do you have any other ideas of a different one that wouldn't belong?
9 again because it doesn't add up to 7. All of these do add up to 7.
Okay, great job. Is there a different number that doesn't belong? 9, 16, 25, 43.
This is the only. This is the only one where the greater number comes before the small.
Great job. Do you see anything a different way?
No.
I noticed that 16 might not belong because it's an even number.
Yeah. All of them are on.
To find a puzzle, visit wodb.ca. There is a wide variety of puzzles to choose from. The next online resource I'd like to share with you is called Splat. It is an interactive number sense strategy that can be used at any grade level. Students are shown representations of numbers. With a splat, part of the representation is hidden, and students are asked how many are still shown and to reason through how many are hidden. Okay, so we have 20 dots, and we're going to splat and cover some up to see we can figure out how many are underneath the splat. 10 dots? All right, Adara, how could you figure out how many are underneath the splat?
You can either subtract 10, or you could do 10 plus 10.
Okay, Phoenix, how did you figure out there were 10 underneath the splat?
I counted these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So you counted 10, then how'd you know there were 10 under the splat?
Because 10 plus 10 equals 20.
Okay, 10 plus 10 is 20.
Subtract.
And you subtracted. So did you both get the right answer?
Yeah.
And now we're going to demonstrate how you can use Splat while you're sitting at home on the couch with a laptop. You ready? All right, how many dots?
14.
14 dots, so Splat. So when you have two different colored splats, it means that the number of dots underneath will not be equal. So there'll be a different amount under the green and the yellow.
There is 9 dots. So there is 5 dots under the splats.
Okay.
It could be 3 and 2. It could be 4 and 1.
Okay. Now check to see.
It's 2 and 3.
2 and 3, you were right. Okay, you ready for another one?
17.
All right, 17 dots. Okay, we'll put the splat up there.
There is 11 under the splats.
Okay, so how could they be divided?
6 and 5. 10 and 1. 2 and 9.
You want to see what's underneath?
It's 5 and 6.
You were right. Good job. The great thing about these resources is that they can be used on a phone, iPad, or computer. That way you have access to them whether you're at home, in the car, waiting in line. Just visit the website on the screen to find various types of splats. Resources such as Which One Doesn't Belong and Splat reinforce the idea that everyone thinks differently and there's more than one right answer when trying to solve a problem. As you can see in the examples from Which One Doesn't Belong, there were multiple different ones that didn't belong. So this experience allows children to be able to express and communicate their mathematical understanding. Check out these websites to access these activities that you've seen in this video and have fun doing math at home.
Thanks, Miss Crawford. All right, well, that wraps up everything for us here today on Education Station. We want to thank everyone who submitted their great lessons, and we want to thank you for watching. We'll see you next time right here on Education Station.